Hello students, welcome to the third lecture session of not-for-profit organization. So in the previous two lecture sessions, in the first one we have discussed we have a discussion on introduction of not-for-profit organization, what it means, and the accounting procedure or the pattern of accounting they maintain, the financial statements they prepare. We have discussed about all those things in the first lecture session. Many of you, I believe, have listened to. In the second lecture session, we have discussed on the receipts and payments account, and also we have discussed on a numerical regarding preparation of a receipts and payments account of a not-for-profit organization. The next financial statement that a not-for-profit organization has to prepare is an income and expenditure account. So before moving on to income and expenditure account, there are certain important concepts that has to be clarified. Unless and until those concepts are clear, it is difficult to comprehend and to prepare an income and expenditure account. So we will move on to some of the important concepts which are related to not-for-profit organizations accounting. So if you look on the screen, you'll find the first item is capital receipt. So receipt, you remember, receipts and payments. In your receipts and payments account, you had receipts, you had payments, and in the previous lecture session I have also told you that there are two kinds of receipts: revenue receipts, capital receipts, two kinds of payment: revenue payment, capital payment. In this lecture session we will be dealing with those concepts, because when we will be solving, or when we will be preparing an income and expenditure account, we will have to segregate receipts into revenue and capital, payments into revenue and capital, and then we can proceed with the preparation of an income and expenditure account. So read with me. The first is capital receipt. It says any item of receipt which can be attributed to any fixed asset or liability account. So example, amount received by sale of any fixed asset, amount received as loan. So in case of a not-for-profit organization, receipts from a specific purpose, so donation for building, donation for prize fund. So all these are receipts of capital nature. They are non-recurring in nature, okay, and indicate a liability or reduction in the value of an asset. So it might indicate a liability or it might indicate a reduction in the value of an asset, okay. And remember, capital receipts are not to be taken to the income and expenditure account, okay. So understand what is a capital receipt, which is attributable to a fixed asset, which is attributable to a liability, long-term liability account, okay. So fixed asset are long-term assets and long-term liability, okay. So any item of receipt attributable to a long-term asset or a fixed asset or a long-term liability, those kind of receipts are called capital receipts. If you move forward, you can see on the screen, in the next one you have the revenue receipt. What is revenue receipt? An item of receipt which can be attributed to any revenue or expense account is termed as revenue received. In case of NPO, subscription, general donation, not for any specific purpose. They are recurring in nature. You get on a continuous basis in the normal course of business activities or normal course of activities, and these revenue receipts will appear on the credit side of income and expenditure account. When we will discuss INE account in a detailed way, that part I will be telling you in a very specialized way, okay. So now, what is revenue receipt? Revenue receipts are those items of receipts which are attributed to any revenue or expenses account, okay. So which is recurring in nature and received during normal course of activities, okay. It is recurring in nature and received during normal course of activities and attributable to any revenue or expenses account. So capital receipt is related to a long-term asset or a liability, long-term liability, and revenue receipt attributable to any revenue or expenses. Capital receipt was non-recurring in nature. Revenue receipt is recurring in nature, and revenue receipt is all items which you have received in the normal course of activities, okay. So let's move forward to the next topic, that is revenue payments. Okay, now coming to the payment side of receipts and payments account, I have again mentioned that time also in the previous lecture session that in receipts and payments account we do not consider anything. We simply consider that if it is a receipt or we record it, if it is a payment we record it. So here again when you talk about the payment side, and while we proceed to other financial statements, that is the income and expenditure account, we have to segregate payments too into revenue and into capital. So the first one, revenue payment. What is revenue payment? Any payment which is necessary for maintaining the normal activities of the organization. Okay, so you have to maintain the normal activities of the organization, you have to incur some expenses which are recurring in nature. You have to continuously pay salaries, you have to pay rent, you have to incur expenses. So all these are recurring in nature and they are related to normal activities of the organization. Those are called revenue payments. The next is your capital payments. This is related to what? Increase or acquisition of a fixed asset or decrease in a liability. You have taken a loan earlier, now you are paying off your loan. That is a capital payment. You are say purchasing a vehicle, that is a capital payment. So these are non-recurring. It doesn't happen regularly. You do not purchase a car every month. Okay, you do not purchase a building every year. No. So those are non-recurring in nature and related to increase or acquisition of a fixed asset or decrease in a liability. You are paying off your liability. So those are capital payments. So we have now four concepts. First is say revenue receipts and capital receipts. Then you have revenue payments and capital payments. We have to be very clear about all these four concepts, and only when these four concepts are clear we can proceed with the preparation of income and expenditure account, which is an important part of the financial statements of a not-for-profit organization. Okay, so we'll discuss more details with each of the items or each of the examples when we do the numericals. So now let us proceed to some other important terms which are used in not-for-profit organization. So if you look at your screen, you will find the first term that is we'll talk about is capital fund. So capital we say in trading concerns, the same thing is capital fund in case of not-for-profit organizations. In case of NPO, we use the word capital fund. In other cases, we use capital. Okay. The next is member. So I think I have discussed that also. Like how does an NPO function, NPO run, and NPO operates, by contribution from its members. Okay, so they are those persons who are registered members of an organization. Okay, and the organization is registered under Societies Registration Act. So those people who have come together, who are registered under a particular organization are called its members. And now these members, they pay to the organization on a regular basis, and with that money the organization say does many kind of work. Maybe for its members it organizes events, maybe it does service, it benefits the society. So various kinds of events are organized. But who are they? The members are those persons who are associated or registered under that particular organization. Now there are two kinds of members. One is life members, other are annual members. So members has to regularly pay some money. Okay, the membership fees, or that you can say subscription also. So some of them they pay in a lump sum and they become life members. Okay, for as long as they live, they are members of the particular club or organization. Annual members, they pay and continue their registration or membership by paying the money annually. Okay, so these are the two types of members. One is life member, other is annual member. Then payment by member. So two types of payment are there by the members. Okay, so they have to pay an entrance fees while they join the organization, and they have to pay a subscription. Okay, at periodical intervals, maybe monthly, quarterly, half yearly, yearly, as per the terms of the organization, in order to keep their membership alive. And the subscription is a regular source of receipt or income for that particular organization. Okay, and entrance fees is also paid by all members who want to join. That is a one-time payment. Okay, every year new members join the organization and they keep on paying entrance fees. That is also an important source of income for the not-for-profit organization. Some other concepts are, the first is donation. Now donations are paid by members, voluntary contributions, sometimes well-wishers. Okay, so both members and non-members. Sometimes they pay in cash, sometimes they pay in kind, like some well-wisher, wants to donate their some of their property or their land or their building to a particular organization. So that is donation in kind. Some people may randomly give some money to their organization for social welfare. So donations are also an important source of income for that particular, for the not-for-profit organizations. Now another concept that is important, that is legacy. Now what is legacy? A donation made by a person through his will and is received by the organization after the death of that person is called legacy. So many a times what happens, people write in their will that upon the death of the particular person, okay, what will happen, their properties or their assets will all be transferred to an organization, to a not-for-profit organization. So then after that person is dead, everything that belonged to that particular person is now belonging to that not-for-profit organization. So that is legacy. That is the kind of receipt which a not-for-profit organization makes, and that is called legacy, and differentiated from donation. Donation is something which a person gives when that person is alive. Legacy is something, donation by a will, okay, and upon the death the property is transferred. Another thing is honorarium, is nothing but a salary. In what happens in not-for-profit organizations, so we generally use the word honorarium in a different, mostly because in not-for-profit organizations often and very often we find many people, many specialists, okay, they come and they contribute, okay, and they take a very minimum amount for their service, minimum amount of money for their service. Why? Because that is their contribution towards the organization. So salary is the word that cannot be used for those kind of people, because they are specialists, their services are very costly, but yet they serve the organization for social benefit, okay, and take a very minimum amount of money from the organization. So that is called honorarium. So a kind of salary, but not exactly salary, okay, because it is a payment made to a person for a specific service rendered by that particular person. Okay, so these were some of the important terms that we have discussed. Okay, I hope most of them are clear. So in the next session we shall proceed with numericals, but if you look at the screen, I have already shared with you the sum that we'll be doing. We'll be finding out the amount of subscription related to the year 2018 for a club. So these kind of sums are very important to get into a proper understanding of income and expenditure account. So hence we will begin with this kind of illustration. Now here you will see that we are to calculate, ascertain the amount of subscription for the year 2018. Okay, so for the year 18, that means how much subscription. So I hope the meaning of subscription is to all of you. So we have to find out that how much subscription is related to the year 2018. Okay, so we will get to know that by solving that particular sum in a specific way. So you can read the question, you can understand, and remember that we have to find out the amount of subscription relating to the year 2018. That means we cannot keep any amount of subscription for the previous year, we cannot keep any amount of subscription for the next year, and we have to include all subscription for the current year. Okay, so we will deal with it in the next session. Okay, so some of you might try also to solve this particular illustration. So thank you for today. So we'll meet you again in the next session.